If they obviously were in those late night film sessions, maybe they saw something that the Colerain defense was susceptible to passes.
Yeah.
Because they've surely come out throwing the ball.
Well, as we said, with Colerain coming into this game, 3rd overall defensively, and they've certainly not suffered from playing poor opponents.
Yeah.
Wayne, very good team. St. X, very good team. Oak Hills trying to find their way. Several coaching changes over there on the west side of town the last few years. But, to hang with St. X, who's perennially a playoff contender and a GMC championship contender, says a lot. But some vulnerability spotted there by the Princeton Vikings, and a huge play. That was, somewhere in the vicinity of 52, 53 yards on the pass and romp into the end zone that time by Rodney Harris Jr. He's just a sophomore.
And he's 6'2". He's got a little more growing left into him, but nevertheless.
High kick's going to trail over to the left side and will go out of bounds, so we'll have an illegal procedure penalty for the Colerain Cardinals. They'll start in a little worse field position than they did last time, but hopefully an opportunity for Cardinals coaching staff to get their players together, wipe the slate clean, and start over. You only trail by 6.
Yeah, it's football is one of those games you got to forget about what happened the last series, right?
Right.
Turnovers are going to happen, big plays are going to happen. It's how you answer that. So we'll see what Colerain's going to do here.
Got to have a very short memory in this game through the entire 48 minutes. So still just 53 seconds have elapsed on the official play clock. Man goes in motion, fumble again.
Wow.
So it was a fake on that option. The quarterback elected to keep it, and very nearly that time Freddie Johnson almost had another turnover, and this one would have given the Vikings even better field position. So loss of 1, 2nd and 11. We have 12 on the scoreboard. The ball is spotted just inside Colerain's own 39-yard line.
Boy, I tell you, that Princeton defense, they're got great pursuit, grabbing at the ball. They're doing everything right so far.
All right, they will hand the ball off that time, but again, that Viking defense is going to collapse, and that ball might be loose again. Nope. Colerain comes up with it, but boy, Princeton was hopping around like they may have had a shot at it.
Boy, they are grabbing at that football.
Well, I guess they're taking the advice literally to, take the ball out of their hands.
3rd and long for Colerain.
3rd and 9. Colerain not able to find any rhythm offensively here early. Man's going to go in motion. Johnson looks over to the sideline for adjustments from the coaching staff. That's the first time we've seen that tonight, but then again, we haven't had very many offensive plays being ran by the Cardinals.
Princeton looks like they're going to blitz from the corner of the ends, and they do.
Back to pass. Here comes the pressure. Dumps it off out into his running back, who's going to advance out to the 42-yard line. Pass is complete to number 19, who is Shannon Murray. He's a junior. One of his running backs in the backfield.
It's going to bring up 4th down and about 4 yards. Princeton's going to get the ball back.
4th and 4.
Looks like D'Angelo Foster's back there for Princeton to get the punt. It's a little hard reading the numbers on the jerseys at Princeton.
Austin Sandusky, the expected punter for the Cardinals. Nice snap, plenty of time.
Nice kick.
Low line drive kick's going to take a Cardinal bounce all the way back inside or right at the 5-yard line. So special teams does its job that time, and Princeton's going to find itself on their second offensive possession pinned back a little bit.
Yeah, 1st and 5, 1st and 10 at their own 5.
Actually, their third offensive possession, correction.
So Colerain in their first couple series, not a whole lot of, I don't think they even got a 1st down, Glenn. So, so that defense of Princeton's fired up, attacking that ball.
Well, that's what you got to do. Can't give Colerain much breathing room and make the quarterback make that option decision very early.
Colerain staying in that 4-3 defense.
Horton actually standing in his own end zone right over the line. He's going to keep it himself. Has a little bit of a hole in the left side, but he's going to be tripped up by Jalen Thomas. So a gain of a yard maybe. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an official spot of about 1 yard. So 2nd and 9 upcoming for the Vikings.
See what Princeton, they're going to try to put the ball up in the air here, Glenn. I don't know. You got to be careful. We saw against Milford, they were prone to some interceptions.
Horton calls for the snap. Looking, quick screen out to the right side. And again, comes in a little hot, and his receiver can't hang on to it over on the far side of the field. So the quick screens looks to be the play of the night, or the
so
for the
far.
Princeton Vikings. Yeah,
so far, yeah.
Other than the deep bomb, which honestly worked very well.
I'm really surprised that Princeton's not trying to run the ball, especially down here. Try to maybe get a first down or two.
Right.
Right now they're 3rd and long, and the ball's spotted at their 8-yard line.
Burn some clock too.
Yeah.
So 3 receivers to the bottom, 2 to the top. Horton looks to pass again. He's
Watch
under
out.
pressure. Oh, he skits away.
Oh.
Are they going to rule him down at the 1-yard line? Very nearly a safety for Colerain, but Horton will be brought down at the 1-yard line, and all of a sudden you're going to have a very delicate punting situation for the Princeton Vikings. Only 11 yards to spare. Not ideal.
Here's a replay on that. Horton goes back to pass. Great pursuit by that defense. He had nowhere to go, Glenn. He's lucky he didn't get tackled in the end zone for a safety.
He should have been brought down twice in the end zone, and by sheer athletic ability, he was able to get over and get out of the way, right?
You need a good snap here. We've seen that at times Princeton's had some issues with that. Colerain, I got to believe, is going to come after him, Glenn.
Yeah, I would think so. Tamir Matthews is the punter.
There's one person back. He got it off.
Yeah, good enough kick. It's going to be fielded inside the 35-yard line, though. Turf Monster rears its head. It was caught by Deshaun Pace, makes his way over to the right side of the field and will be brought out of bounds around the 22, 23-yard line. Excellent field position for the Colerain Cardinals.
Short field.
Can thank your defense for that.
Well, yeah, and again, I'm repeating myself. 2 out of the 3 plays, they threw the ball and weren't able to, and they got negative yards.
Right.
You got to give your special teams a little bit more, field to work with on something like that.
I need a little bit more room than that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Cardinals, 1st and 10, very nearly in the red zone already, and
negative play
boy,
again.
That Princeton defense came hot and heavy up the middle, and that's going to move the Cardinals back to around the 26-yard line.
Well, you'd have to say so far, Glenn, and we're only, 4 or 5 minutes into the game, the defensive front for Princeton is definitely, is winning the battle in the trenches so far.
Well, again, we saw that against Milford back in week 1. Hunter Johnson really had no time to go through his progressions that night.
Yep.
And, some really talented athletes defensively for the Vikings here. Johnson's going to go under center. It's going to be a handoff to number 15, Tyler Prather. Flag on the field. Prather's still on his feet.
It's going to come back, Glenn. I think it's holding.
It's ruled a touchdown on the field, but from the flag being thrown in the backfield, it's likely going to be against Colerain. Flag was thrown down around the 31, 32-yard line. No, it's against Colerain, but it's not a hold. So a
cut block,
so a touchdown wiped out by penalty. So another mistake for the Colerain Cardinals.
But that was a heck of a run, wasn't it?
It was. Prather. Good luck bringing him down.
He made a lot of people miss.
And that was a 24-yard touchdown run. Probably ran 34 yards trying to get there.
Boy, it's going to be.
But, that's a 15-yarder, right?
Yep.
So it's going to, Colerain, their own worst enemy right now. They're doing things to themselves that Princeton can't do on this offensive possession for Colerain. So the ball is going to be all the way back at the 42-yard line.
Colerain's got to try to get some positive yards here on this play. Last 2 plays, loss of yards and a penalty.
2nd and 29.
See if there's a
man and a whistle on the field.
Timeout.
So Colerain will take timeout number 1 of the game.
That's probably a good timeout, Glenn. I mean, listen, Colerain they look a little flustered right now.
Right.
I think it's time for the coach to pull them over there, calm them down a little bit, see if we can get a play here, get some yardage, and if they don't make it, which they got 2 plays potentially to get 29 yards. If they don't make it, then maybe they kick a field goal or they punt the ball and pin Princeton back. We saw what their defense could do the last possession for Princeton. Colerain buckled down and forced them, almost got them into safety.
Kind of in that tweener area, if you're not able to pick up many positive yards, probably going to be hard to pull off a pooch punt. Not short of field at the high school level. Stranger things have happened. So may, as you said, like to go for it on 3rd and 4th down, barring another penalty.
Right.
Just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, see what they do here, what kind of play they're going to draw up here coming out of that timeout.
They need to get to the 14-yard line. They are on the 42. So let's see what's happening coming out of the huddle. Another handoff up the middle. Princeton's ready for it. Boy, there is no room there tonight.
There is nothing there. There is nothing there.
On the carry that time was M.J. Flowers. He's a sophomore for Colerain.
Boy, that whole defensive line, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, that whole defensive line is really firing off that ball. And they're not moving. The offensive line of Colerain is not moving them off the ball.
Yeah. I certainly understand that you want to keep it away from the athletic defensive ends of Princeton.
Right.
But sooner or later, you're going to have to realize that up the gut is not working.
No.
Princeton is penetrating past the Colerain offensive line, and the play never really has a chance to develop. There's going to be a wide pitch. It's going to go to the left side. Ball carrier still on his feet before being forced out of bounds. That was Abdul Wahid, who is a senior, took the pitch that time.
Looks like Colerain's going to punt, which I think is a pretty good idea right here. No reason given if you don't make it, no reason given better field position. Try to pooch it in the corner like you mentioned, Glenn.
Well, if it's touchback, then at least you kind of made it 14 yards more difficult, right? Or it comes out to 25 now, so 9 yards.
Back to punt is Sandusky for Colerain.
Standing just inside midfield. He'll be at the 49-yard line. One return man deep for the Vikings. Good snap, a little bit of a side-legged kick, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at the 19-yard line. But boy, had that stayed inbounds, that would have taken a Princeton Vikings roll.
Looked like one of those soccer kicks, right?
Yeah.
So, again, Princeton, they were able to weather that offensive series by Colerain where they had great field position.
Right.
A lost opportunity for Colerain.
Colerain's going to have to figure something out. As I said, that power play up the middle, or that power run up the middle that they're so used to is just not working tonight. Princeton doing a good job of stuffing the gut. So here's Princeton's going to run the ball. What a lick there. Talking about defensively penetrating through the offensive line.
That's number 5, Michael Bess. Here's a replay. Bess absolutely just lowered the boom, seam in your right-hand corner. Roll that play, and he's waiting. He's just waiting. Boom. Yeah. It's a pancake.
Vikings never had a chance on that one. It is a gain of a yard, though. 2nd and 9.
That was a tough yard, Glenn.
Yeah, maybe some early movement there. No flag, and Horton's pass is low. It skips off the ground for his intended receiver on the far side of the field. Pass was intended for Sterling Burkhalter, the senior wide receiver. He's 6'3". He can go get him.
Yeah, he can.
Getting down to the ground like that, so it gets to be a little tough, Mike.
Yeah, I think you want to get that ball up a little bit for him, give him a chance to catch it and square his shoulders up and head downfield. Oh, there's a penalty. It's offsides.
Another mental mistake.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Oh.
There's 5 yards to make that third down a little bit more manageable.
3rd and 9's now 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
And you stop the clock on top of it.
See if they change the play coming out after that penalty.
$5:11 to go in the first quarter here on Friday Night Football. Clash of the Titans in the Greater Miami Conference.
Another
flag.
I think that's going to go against.
False start.
It's going to go against Princeton.
Plays blown dead, so referee give it, the referee take it away.
So now it's 3rd and 9 again.
Yep. Like we're here.
Yeah, deja vu all over again.
So one of the first mental mistakes of the night for the Vikings.
See if Colerain brings a little pressure here. They've blitzed on a couple of the plays. They're still in that 4-3. Looks like you're going to get some pressure from the corner. Are you kidding me?
Now and another flag.
This
one's going to go against the Cardinals. I didn't watch the NFL game last night, but the Titans-Jaguars game apparently was a flag fest with lots of holding calls.
It was.
Right now, our player of the game is the yellow penalty flag.
The NFL is the amount of penalties that they're calling through 3 games in the NFL is ridiculous.
You know,
it's really ruining the product.
Why you would make holding a point of emphasis is amazing to me, considering there's holding on every play.
Yeah.
Colerain showing blitz again, and 4 in a row.
They're going to give him a first down now.
4 in a row.
It's going to be first down because that's going to be on Colerain.
So 3 penalties on Colerain.
Unbelievable.
And yeah, Mike, good call. It's going to be a first down by penalty. Vikings will take it however you can get it. They don't care.
That's Jalen Thomas, number 2 for Colerain, trying to. You could tell he was going to blitz on the corner. He got a little happy feet there, and offsides gave Princeton a first down on a penalty.
Horton with a quick snap is going to roll to his right. Has a receiver wide open on the near sideline, but leads him out of bounds. Was intended for Jamar Matthews.
He was open, Glenn.
He was. He let him out of bounds.
Let him, yep. That sideline is your 12th defender. So it's be 2nd down and 10. Still 6-0 Princeton. Missed the extra point on that after that long 52-yard touchdown pass.
3 receivers to the bottom of the formation. 1 lone receiver to the top for the Vikings. Colerain showing a little bit of pressure again. Horton's going to go up the middle, and not a whole lot there. Excuse me. He may even lose half a yard. Boy, that was a tough sequence.
That was.
Couldn't get that out.
They got 3 wideouts again here to the right. You would think this is a passing play.
Well, you would think, but the chess match continues. Maybe a draw opportunity for Horton. Colerain's going to rush 3. We'll see if the linebackers come up. 1 from the left side, Will.
They're going to change the play, it looks like. Here they come.
Horton, quick pass over to his left. It's going to be shy of the marker, though. Pass was hauled in by Burkhalter, number 1.
4th down.
And here comes the change in personnel. The Vikings are going to punt it away. Tamir Matthews is who we saw punt back from the end zone several minutes ago for Princeton. 4th and 4, so a gain of 6. Why you draw up plays on 3rd down that don't go past the sticks is beyond me, but that's why I'm up here, not on the sideline.
All right, back to get the punt is number 3, Pace.
High snap. It's a floater, but it comes down. High kick. It's not going to go very far, but it's got tremendous hang time, and it's going to take a Cardinal bounce up to the 45-yard line.
Glenn, so far we've not seen anything out of the Colerain offense. More negative yards than positive yards. They got to get back to the basics, I think, here.
We're going to have to figure out something, because whatever they have tried so far, clearly not working.
We give Princeton's defense a lot of credit because they're great pursuit on the ball. The defensive line is digging in. They're not able to get pushed off. Let's see if Colerain want to maybe get some jet sweeps or some quick passes to the outside to loosen up that defense.
I don't know if I'd want to be running up the middle with Todd Harding staring at me, 6'2", 300 pounds, that nose tackle position. So it looks like the play is going to go to the right, and indeed it was. It's going to be an option pass, wide open receiver, caught at the 25 and into the end zone for a touchdown.
There you go.
So there's that explosive play that we talked about that Colerain was capable of, and a halfback option pass is going to go here for about 55 yards, and it's a tie ball game, folks.
Well, that was drawn up and executed flawlessly.
Amazing that time. Touchdown pass hauled in by number 16, Isaiah Myers. He's just a sophomore.
Here's a replay.
So here you're going to see the pitch. It's going to go over to the running back. He sets it up for a pass right away. Throwing that ball, Lawson Sandusky. And the receiver, as you saw, was wide open, and Princeton didn't have a chance until they were inside the 5. The extra point attempt is up and good. So the Colerain Cardinals move ahead for the first time tonight, 7-6 with 3:53 remaining in the first quarter.
Boy, the offensive line for Colerain really sustained their blocks to be able to give the
that was
Sandusky the opportunity to get that ball downfield.
Well,
so give him credit.
Yeah, obviously attacking the line of scrimmage wasn't working, so let's give somebody some time in the backfield. And
right.
Sandusky, a good 7 yards or so off the ball, and just threw an absolute bomb.
Right on cue, Glenn. I actually suggested they needed to mix things up a little bit, and lo and behold, maybe I should be on that sideline down there.
We don't need Tony Romo. We have Michael Orienti on ICRC, folks. I don't know if you're going to get $12 million a year like he's asking for.
No, 8's fine.
You're lucky to get a pizza and a bottle of water some nights,
That's true.
man.
Yeah, I'm begging for that sometimes.
It's only if you get here early.
That's right, Josh. It's okay, brother. Don't worry about it. All right, so Colerain's going to kick off. They just took the lead 7-6.
Now this is more of what we expected, the big plays. We've seen a big play from Princeton. Now we just saw a big play from Colerain. Let's see what the Vikings have in store.
Pooch.
High kick over toward the right side. It's fielded inside the 20-yard line. You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Breaks free of a tackle before he's finally brought down out near the 24-yard line. Got to get north-south. That east-west stuff doesn't work a whole lot. It looks good when it does, but your probabilities, percentages, not great on that.
Not bad field position, 23, 24-yard line.
Not at all, but could have been better.
Yep.
But, hey, you've got playmakers. They've got wheels. Let them go.
That's right. Let's see what Princeton. They've been pass happy so far. Well, obviously, they had their big 52-yard pass. Is there a penalty?
Yeah, the referee marked off a penalty. His mic is not working. We're not getting it in the press box or in the stadium at all. So.
I didn't even see a flag out there.
Well, I didn't either. I saw him making a gesture, but I thought it was maybe getting the ball set for play. But, yeah, so the Vikings are going to march backwards after the penalty to the 14-yard line. Horton, quick pass, has a receiver.
Oh, flea flicker.
Yeah, there's that. Boy, there is that.
We saw that against Milford.
Hook and ladder.
We
saw against Milford, yeah. That catch and pitch.
That's right. It was. Here's a replay. You can execute it. Too bad the sidelines were there because he had some running room.
Yep. So there's.
Oh, we missed it.
Man. Horton dumps it off to his right side, and his receiver pitches it back. So now we have another stoppage in play down on the field. Referees, are they going to huddle up and get together here?
I think they want a measurement.
Substitution. Here it is. Now let's take a look at it. So you see Horton looking left, rolls over to his right, cut off again.
They're going to call it a first down.
Yep. So fresh set of downs, thanks to the pitch and catch, hook and ladder, whatever you want to call it. Horton's going to hand it off, one of the few times we've seen that tonight, and plowing through the blocks provided by his offensive line down on the field. James Price III, the senior running back, 5'7", 152, and he was running through Cardinals like he was 6'2", 200.
Yeah, and on the tackle for Colerain was number 4, Brandon Sinclair. Just a good pickup, got about 5 yards on that play. If
Horton.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Nope, sorry.
If Princeton's able to execute those running plays and have some semblance of a passing game, they're going to be dangerous tonight.
Horton obviously made it work there as he had a big hole up the middle. He's going to advance the ball out to the 43-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Vikings. 2:57, and the clock continues to roll. So Princeton was pass happy early, as we've talked about. Now they're going to the ground game a little bit more, trying to keep it out of the hands of that Colerain offense, which is kind of what we expected tonight. They're going to go back to the run. It's going to go back to number 15, James Price III. and he's going to pick up a good chunk of yardage there. He's going to get 7 or 8 yards. Ball's going to be spotted just inside the 45-yard line. So it's going to set up a second and a long second and third officially, but
that was a great run on his, Glenn, because he broke a couple tackles and just kept those feet churning and picked up almost 8 yards. Colerain's defense is going to have to buckle down here.
Well, and again, keeping the hands out of that Colerain offense. Horton calls for the ball, handoff, stutter step over to the right side, ends up going back up the middle. Ball's going to be advanced out to midfield, just across midfield, and the Vikings are in Colerain territory.
You know, I think what's working to Price's advantage, he's got a lot of heart, but he's only 5'7", 155 pounds. When he's in there against those big guys, he kind of gets lost a little bit. Then he's able to break that first tackle, and he continues to pick up great positive yards.
Yeah, for sure. So that is Price the third in the backfield with Horton.
This could be another long pass play here.
Yep. Read option. Horton's going to keep it and plow himself ahead for just shy of 2 yards.
You know, I think that's 87, the gentleman that caught Harris, who caught that touchdown pass for Princeton. He's got one-on-one coverage out here with number 22. And again, he's got a pretty significant height advantage. Yeah. Might not be a bad opportunity to throw one up and let him go up and get it.
Let's see if you've got it. Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Pretty good at picking those out. Horton calls for the ball. Another read option, fakes it to Price the third, gets away from one tackle. Colerain's having trouble bringing him down.
Ball's loose.
Ball's loose on the ground. Colerain saying they have it, and indeed they do.
Great.
So MJ Horton went to the well one too many times, Mike.
And grabbed that ball right out of his hands. If we get a replay, you can see the defender literally just grabbed it. As he was falling down, took it right out of his hands.
Well, that's what Colerain needed, an opportunity to get the ball back, and they're going to capitalize.
You can see it here.
Princeton mistake.
Right here.
Very nearly.
Number 40 just ripped it out.
Yeah. Number 4 for Colerain Cardinals defensively is Brandon Sinclair, junior defensive back.
So we got a turnover by Princeton. Colerain's got great field position, just a little under a minute to go in the first quarter.
They're at their own 41-yard line. Quarterback goes under center, looks over to the coaching staff for an adjustment. Based on the defensive read, audible's out. He's going to keep it himself. Hole doesn't opened up for a moment on the left side before being filled. Just not a whole lot of room there for Freddie Johnson.
Again, good pursuit by the defense of Princeton. Got about 5 yards on that.
Yeah, a little better than it looked initially.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 5, they'll take it.
You're starting to see Colerain's offense pick up a little more chunks of yards per play now, Glenn. It looks like maybe they've made some adjustments.
We kind of had to see what Vikings were going to bring defensively and adjust to it. So big run up the middle is going to be a first down. Ball was carried forward by number 9 for Colerain, MJ Flowers. He's a sophomore. Into Princeton territory, Jaheim Thomas. The referee's about to get himself rotator cuff surgery, trying to get that clock rolling up here as we're in the final 10 seconds of the first
It's a good thing you and I are not down there with our shoulder problems trying to wind that clock on, you know what I mean?
You're not kidding.
That's it. That's the last play of the first quarter.
That will do it. Even with the few extra seconds that the Colerain was granted by the scoreboard slight error, I can't do much with it.
So, Glenn, we haven't really seen, I mean, we've seen the big plays, obviously, right? We really haven't seen either team do any kind of sustained drive where they're picking up, 4 or 5 first downs. And so it's really been the big plays.
Well, and I think we kind of expected that coming in. You knew this was going to be a battle in the trenches. Kind of surprised that Princeton was relying on the pass so early. They go back to the run there, and the unfortunate turnover by MJ Horton if you're a Vikings fan. So, I think we're going to see more and more of those big plays, and looks like Colerain is finally starting to figure out what they can do offensively against this Vikings defense. Princeton reacting to the defensive adjustments by Colerain, pulling the ball down out of the air and trying to run it a little bit more. So now you got to hang on to the football.
That's correct. They'll make those corrections.
Sure. Long game.
Yep.
12 minutes into a 48-minute game. See it. Math like you did there.
Listen, math is one of your strong points.
I'm on it tonight. All right, here we go. Just about set to get underway with the second quarter. Princeton continues to show pressure up front. Colerain's going to hand off up the middle, and Pack's just going to move forward. Handoff was given to number 9, MJ Flowers, Mike.
Glenn, I tell you, there was a fun battle in the trenches. Etchenwender for Colerain, number 60, and number 99 for Princeton, Younger. They are going at it. I've watched a couple of the plays. I mean, it's fun.
6'0", 359 is Younger.
If we can get some of that, to watch these guys. These guys are, it's the center against the nose tackle. It's fun watching these guys.
Johnson's going to keep it himself. Doesn't really get much of a hole over on the right side to materialize, but he's going to pick up about 3 yards. So it will be second down and about 6 yards to go, I would guess. Or third down and 6, excuse me.
Princeton's buckling down. They got to try to hold him here.
Ball spotted on the near hash. Not a lot of room to work with on the right side. Yeah.
Looks like it'll be a run play.
Nope, pass out to the flat, complete.
Got to make him. Oh, nice move.
And looks to be real close to the first down marker. So
looks like he's going to be about a yard short. I've got to believe they're going to go for it. Nice open field tackle by number 12, Harris.
Shannon Murray with the completion.
He kept that from becoming a bigger play.
So 4th and 1, and really looks to be less than 1. Can Colerain impose their will for a single yard against this impressive Viking defensive front? Colerain obviously going to go to a jumbo package. Handoff, first down and more. Weaving through traffic inside the 20. It's going to be tripped up inside the 15. So, boy, you needed a yard, and you get a lot more than that.
Great
run by MJ Flowers.
Yeah.
So, Colerain, another big chunk of yards. They're in the red zone. Ball's going to be spotted in the vicinity of the 10-yard line. Looks like it's going to be at the 12. Maybe the 13. 9:51 remaining. Clock continues to roll. Another jumbo package. Johnson's going to keep it himself. Hole didn't materialize where he wanted to go. He cut back inside and right into the arms of 2 waiting Viking defenders. But positive yardage nonetheless, a gain of about 2.
You know, the defense for Princeton's been this has been a pretty long drive. I do notice I see most of those guys, they got their hands on their hips, which is a sign of a little bit of fatigue.
Still warm here.
Yep.
Well into dusk, but the turf has been absorbing that heat from the sun all day. It's still very warm down on the playing surface. Johnson looks over for an adjustment. Going to keep with that jumbo look to the formation.
Running out of time, down to 4-3. They just get it off.
Johnson hands it off. Powering his way forward is Flowers.
Touchdown.
And that is a touchdown.
Boy, Flowers.
Number 9, MJ Flowers.
Well, he's a workhorse. You know, he gets between those tackles, and he also has the ability of cutting it outside. He just kept those legs churning and carried 3 guys into the end zone with him.
Sure did.
Here's a replay.
Watch as this play develops. Of course, that's Flowers in the backfield. This is a look over for the adjustment. As Mike said, the play clock was starting to get low here. They had 5 or 4 seconds by the time Johnson goes back under center. He's got to make sure that Flowers has a play call because, hey, it's coming to you. And there you see Flowers. Look at him. That hole developed on the left side and took 3 defenders into the end zone with him, as you said. The extra point is no good. So the lead will hold at 7 for Colerain. They're not able to capitalize on the missed extra point by Princeton earlier, so another special teams miscue.
That could come back on this game, Glenn.
That's,
you
think it would have to at some point.
Yeah, 7. You have an 8-point lead versus a 7-point lead, and then you force the other team at some point in time potentially to have to go for 2. Well, we've seen a lot of the professional teams going for 2-point conversions. It's pretty interesting.
The PAT's not a gimme anymore.
No.
Which definitely makes for more exciting football.
As long as they would keep the officials keep those yellow things in their pocket.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens with that. Kicking off is going to be Cameron Ott. He's 6'4", 180 pounds. And he is a senior.
He's a big, tall drink of water, isn't he?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Looks like 9 and 21 deep for the Vikings.
Nice kick.
Yeah, super kick, but just went out of bounds by about a yard. And you'll have the dreaded illegal procedure penalty on the kickoff.
That's an interesting. I'm assuming that they didn't do that on purpose, right?
No,
I know you're trying to pin the person back against the sidelines, but it ended up costing you, extra yardage versus the potential of tackling them in the middle of the field. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
Always works well in practice.
I know. I'm just not a big fan of that. That's
35.
You're on the 35-yard line.
I understand your point. You're trying to get it back into that corner, make it difficult for your return men to get to, and hopefully it rolls dead. Your gunners can get down there and down it before it rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Horton's going to keep it, and the turf monster got him that time. He was trying to cut back over to his right and just lost his footing.
Well, if he stayed on his feet, he was going to be greeted by 2 defensive players for Colerain. So I'm not sure he was going to get. Maybe he took a dive just to avoid the hit, right?
Could be. So no gain or loss on the play. Or actually, it's going to be a yard loss officially. 2nd and 11, 8:20. High snap. Horton looks on an option. He's going to keep it and dives forward and will be brought down at the 42-yard line. And dangerous dive there as he went head first and did take some contact to that helmet.
We talked about Horton in the pregame. He's averaging a little over 100 yards a game rushing. I think he's not on pace to hit that same number unless something happens. But because that Colerain defense obviously recognized he's the main carrier of the ball for Princeton.
Probably saw Dante Corleone trying to get his team or his fans over in the Colerain sideline into it. Pass was incomplete, was intended for Burkhalter. A quick pass. Burkhalter didn't really have a chance to turn around and catch the ball. So some miscommunication there. And 4th down, Vikings are going to be forced to punt.
This is a big series for Princeton. They're going to have to make sure that we talked about not let this game get out of hand.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make sure they do their best to keep Colerain out of the end zone because they're going to get good field position. Very possible they're going to get the ball somewhere inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Tamir Matthews is the punter. Deshaun Pace, the return man for the Cardinals. Wow, a little bit of a wild snap. He's able to pull it down.
Punt.
Good kick. Good recovery. Well, it looked like he half-heartedly called for a fair catch, but apparently he was just trying some trickeration, but didn't result in anything. He's going to be brought down at the 30-yard line. Didn't it look like he waved across his chest?
It did look like it. But the officials were right there. I'm sure if they would have seen that because of safety, they would have thrown the flag if he tried to advance after signaling for a fair catch.
I think you got to make it pretty clear and obvious you want a fair catch. Yep. And as I said, that was kind of a half-hearted effort. Not sure why he would have been waving across his chest. Nonetheless, Colerain back on offense. 7:28 remaining.
Here comes Princeton. They were showing blitz. There's an offsides.
Johnson Saul pulled out to get a read or an adjustment from the coaching staff, and they'll pick up 5 yards against an anxious Vikings defense.
we've seen those defensive ends or the linebackers coming up for the blitz, and on both sides they've been very anxious and have caused offside penalties.
Flowers in the backfield for Johnson.
Here they're coming again, Glenn.
He, of course, had the last touchdown for the Cardinals. Johnson's going to audible out the adjustment. Flowers, left side, still on his feet. It's going to take a gang of Vikings to bring him down.
Nice positive run by Flowers. Almost broke that.
It's going to be a 9-yard gain, setting up 2nd and 1. You know what happened last time? They just needed
a
single yard
Yep.
to pick up a first down. It resulted in 6 points.
Clock's down to 15.
Those sideline adjustments so prevalent in the high school game. Saw that a lot last week, Mount Healthy. Flowers powers his way over the left side, gets the yard he needed and 5 or 6 more on top of it. He'll be just shy of the 45-yard line or perhaps right at it. Fresh set of downs for the Cardinals. 6:41 remaining in the second quarter.
Flowers came in averaging about 4.5 yards a carry. I'd be interested here after we get the first half statistics and see how he's doing compared to his average.
I think he's padded it a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I would think so.
He's still out there. Running back position. Johnson's going to go under center. Flowers again, left side, taking several red jerseys with him. Some extracurricular action after the play, but no flags. So they found their workhorse in Flowers
They
tonight.
have found him. And they're going in that formation where they're not giving Princeton any look where that they could be throwing the ball.
Right.
I could see all of a sudden now taking the ball instead of handing it off, faking it, and maybe look for one of those big plays because Princeton's bunching up in there on defense trying to stop that run. Somebody could sneak out and potentially be open for a long pass.
Ball spotted squarely at midfield. Johnson fakes the handoff to Flowers, works his way around the left side before being brought down right at the marker.
Down, yep.
And that should be a fresh set of down for the Cardinals. Timeout on the field. And the referees are going to signal him down. Clock frozen at 5:30.
Looks like we got a player down, number 78 for Colerain. Looks like he's down. Looks like he's nursing maybe a ankle or a calf. That's Pert.
DeLon Pert, 5'10", 265-pound senior at left guard.
I don't think that's cramping. It sure does. Maybe it is.
I don't know. He's grabbing that face mask awfully hard. Usually with the cramp, you see him pounding on the turf a little bit. So we've had a mix of clouds running throughout the tri-state today. I was in Butler County earlier today and got rained on.
Really? Rain?
Oh, yeah.
Rain?
Downpour. It lasted about 3 minutes, but keep an eye out. The International Space Station is supposed to be visible to the naked eye tonight, streaking across the sky here at dusk. So camera operators here up on top of the press box with us. We'll keep an eye out for that. I don't know that I've ever went outside to see that thing in person.
I don't know if I have either. I wouldn't even know what it looked like other than a streak in the sky, right?
Probably as close as I'm going to get to it. So unfortunately, back to football and away from astronomy. DeLon Pert is being helped off the field.
Yeah, he's nursing that right leg.
At least I said astronomy and not astrology.
Yeah. Far be it for us to correct you, Glenn.
So somebody better. Okay, so once we get back to the line of scrimmage here, it's going to be 1st and 10. Clock is frozen at 5:30. In the second quarter, the ball spotted at the 45-yard line. You know what you need to know. 13-6, favor the Colerain Cardinals. Going to send a man in motion out to the left side. Is that Flowers? Johnson's going to keep it himself, has the edge.
Wow.
First down and more, still on his feet before being brought down inside the 25-yard line.
Wow, he had a great burst of speed to get out, get that corner. Big pickup on that play. Again, we talked about Princeton really needs to do what they can to keep them from scoring, to keep this game from potentially getting out of control. And there you go.
Colerain has settled in now on offense.
Yes, they have.
Mike?
Yes, they have. Great run by Johnson.
What a tremendous athlete he is. You know, he's running a long way to get that edge. And then to get that kind of positive yardage afterward, that's true testament to the blocking in front of him and the speed he possesses. It's going to be a handoff to Flowers. He's going to cut back inside, and he's going to be brought down near the 17-yard line. The Cardinals are in the red zone.
Colerain is starting to play little smash mouth football, right? They're going to say, we're going to run the ball. Princeton, you stop us.
Right.
So far, they've been unsuccessful, at least on this series. Colerain has just literally been just taking that ball and driving it down the field.
Yeah, Princeton's been unsuccessful, just to clarify
yeah,
that.
Princeton,
stopping them.
Yeah.
So Colerain's been pretty darn successful
on
offense.
No, I've been Princeton.
Yep.
You're right.
Johnson's going to go back under center. Flowers in the backfield. Again, split out to the left side. Johnson with a long cadence. He's going to keep it himself.
We've seen that play before.
Yeah. Boy, he's got number 24 for the Vikings in pursuit and finally gets away from him before the secondary comes to help. But hot on his heels was Jaheim Thomas.
He's just too fast. They couldn't catch him. That pursuit from behind, there was just no way.
Yeah, well, you saw that burst of speed once he got to the edge and was running north-south and not to his side.
There was just no way to get him.
First and goal
Got a
for
timeout.
the Cardinals.
Princeton.
Timeout taken by the Vikings to talk this over, see what they can dial up to try to slow down this Colerain offense that has been picking up yards in big chunks here so far in the second quarter.
They're showing their ability and their talent on offense. They've stayed in that bunch formation, Glenn. They're just going from one side to the other, and it's just come get me, and it's not happening by Princeton. So you got to believe when they're down on the 4-yard line, it's going to be difficult for Princeton to keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah, well, that option offense gives fits to teams, and it's such a quick decision made by the quarterback, Johnson. And you've got a weapon like Flowers in the backfield. We've seen how impressive he's been tonight in this game.
Yeah, the Flowers and the Johnson combination has been pretty lethal so far.
The Vikings break the huddle, make their way back out onto the field. The ball is spotted at the 4-yard line. First and goal, 4:17. Colerain a little later coming out of their huddle on the far sideline. 4 tries to hit pay dirt for the Cardinals. See what Coach Cutright and his quarterback Johnson can dial up here. Again, that jumbo package in this red zone situation. Johnson handoff to Flowers. You kind of knew that was coming. There's helmets flying in the end zone. And touchdown, Colerain Cardinals once again. Number 9, MJ Flowers starting to exert his will against this Viking defense.
Here's a replay. It just right up the middle.
Penalty? I saw the referee gesturing down on the field.
I don't know. There's a player down on the field.
Okay.
Flowers came in with 2 touchdowns through the first 3 games. So far in the first half of this game, he's already met his season total of 2. So he'll have 4 going into the second half.
So it's a Princeton Viking player down, and we believe it's Jaheim Thomas. He, of course, is committed to play football at the University of Cincinnati. This is game number 3 of his senior season. You do not want to see that, as it is an apparent left leg injury.
It looks like he's sitting up. Yeah, he's up. He's standing up.
Obvious. Yeah, probably just a cramping issue, just a little bit of a limp. I'm sure we'll see him back, but for you Bearcat fans, not what you want to see. One of your prized hometown recruits getting injured in his senior year.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Glenn, Luke Fickle was here, head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats. It's good to see him down on the field talking to both head coaches.
Yeah. Got players on both sides of the ball.
Got players on both sides, and it's nice to see some of the local talent staying local. UC is trying to build a a program that's similar in stature to the basketball.
Yeah.
And Fickle is having a lot of success. It's good to see.
So that's going to be Cameron Ott attempting the point after. Here we go. Good snap. Kick is up and good. Right into the pep band here in the west end zone. Mancuso Field at Viking Stadium.
Glenn, I don't want to say this is a must drive, but you know, if nothing else, you've got to keep the Colerain offense off the field, right? So Princeton's going to need to get some first downs, and maybe, you know, hopefully get some points out of it. But at a minimum, they can't get this ball back to Colerain with any length of time left on the clock before halftime.
Well, that was one of our keys to the game, was for Colerain to get in Princeton's head a little bit, big chunks of yardage. All of a sudden, the scoring spigot has been opened up here. Let's see what the Vikings have in them to react to that. You know, this is where your intestinal fortitude and maintaining your bearing comes in handy. Don't get frustrated. Just play hard and execute the things you do on the practice field here every week, Monday through Thursday. 4:11 remaining in the second quarter. Colerain set to kick off to Princeton.
There's another of them.
Yeah, it's going to go to one of the up men and be fumbled. Does Colerain have it back?
There you go. They do.
Yep, they do.
Wow.
A short field. So the directional kick to one of the up men pays off. The Vikings not able to hang on to it. And coming up with the football for Colerain was number 14, Abdul Wahid. That's the second time we've called his name tonight in a big play.
Go ahead, Glenn.
The Cardinals are back in business. So here we come with the directional kick. High kick going to the up man. There's a block there, but really had nothing to do with the play. Just not a good look at the football and trying to run before you catch it. So now the Vikings are back on their heels.
The defense was out there for a long period of time on that last drive. They come down, sit down for one play. Now they got to go right back out there. So you know fatigue is playing a role right now.
Absolutely.
You got to believe Colerain's going to continue to do what's made him successful. And that's that man right there,
Flowers.
number 9.
Yep, cuts back to the inside. Princeton somewhat ready for it. Again, some pushing after the play, but a gain of 4 yards it looks to be. Flowers just a beast here in the second quarter.
There's a penalty. I think it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct against Princeton, Glenn.
Well, we talked about that too, but we expected to see that down the stretch of the game. But now facing some adversity, Princeton
is
going to unleash the mental mistakes now.
It is. That's going to half the distance to the goal line.
That's not what you can afford to do right now. No matter how frustrated you are, not how upset you are, no matter what's happened at the bottom of the pile, you've got to put the team first.
And I think it was a continuation after the last play where there was a little bit of jawing between each players. Unfortunately for Princeton, their player didn't give it up. He kept going and maybe said something to the official, because I didn't see any of the Colerain players over there. So, you know, you say the magic word to the official, you're going to get a penalty.
So 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. 3:29 remaining. Johnson's going to pass.
Oh, nice play.
Swatted away at the last minute. Good secondary coverage. Pass was supposed to be intended for number 11 of Colerain, who's Elijah Ford. Take a look at it on the replay.
Boy, nice knocking the ball away by number 2 for Princeton. He was open. Boom.
Left hand ball.
Yeah, left hand knocked it away.
Boy, good awareness. Didn't really turn around and get a great look at that ball. But it stops the clock after the incompletion. 3:19. 2nd and 10 from the 11.
Mr. Flowers, you think?
I don't know why you wouldn't, but penalty.
Illegal motion.
Colerain. Still moving when the ball was snapped, wasn't he? Man that went and get in motion. for the minute winning motion.
Yep.
So that'll back them up 5. So 2nd and 15 now from the 16-yard line.
It's not what Colerain wants to do, go backwards.
No, you want to make Princeton pay for those 2 mistakes if you're a Colerain Cardinal. First the miscue on the kickoff and then the unsportsmanlike penalty. You want to get in their head and get points here.
Going away from that bunch formation with the wideouts here on the right.
Yep, another running back in the backfield. Joining Flowers, number 19, Shannon Murray. It's going to be a pass out to the left side or right side, complete.
It's incomplete.
Yeah, it didn't maintain possession before he coughed it up and it went out of bounds. So it was caught but not able to maintain possession.
I think they were looking at the potential of that being a lateral.
3rd and 15, 2:43 remaining in the half. Ball will be spotted on the near hash, so the whole formation has to move.
This would be epic if Princeton could hold them, keep them out of the end zone.
So back there now is Jaden Thomas, number 2. Flowers goes in motion. That's going to be a pitch to Thomas, trying to get the edge on the far side of the field. He does, still on his feet, but looks like he was going to be out of bounds just shy of the goal line.
What are you going to do here, Glenn? It's 4th and about, what, 3? They're going to field goal.
I don't know. The way this running game's going, I think you go for it. But again, that's why
here's a replay.
Sitting up here. Yeah, he got out of bounds much farther away from the goal line than I thought he did. Tough angle for us up here. Field goal try on the way. Ball's going to be snapped from the 5, so add on 7. That's 12, 22 yards to the back of the end zone. Good snap. Kick is up.
Plenty of distance.
And no good.
Wow,
big to the left.
That's a big stop by the Princeton Vikings. We talked about that, how important it was for them to keep them out of the end zone.
I'll tell you, it's kicking game's always an adventure in high school football.
Yep.
My tired and worn cliche that I say at least 12 times a season. But you gotta just wonder why your running game is rolling. Why not go for it there? And if you don't get it, then you got Princeton pinned deep. I guess same result here. You missed field goal and they're still pinned deep.
Yeah.
But maybe much more likelihood of success the way that running game was rolling here.
You talk about field goals. We saw last week against Mount Healthy in Wyoming, right? and Princeton lived it last week with Sycamore, right?
Yeah, sure did.
So.
Horton takes a snap, hands off, big hole up the middle is going to materialize.
Penalty.
Going to take a heap of cards to bring him down. But penalty on the field.
See him maybe holding.
Flag was thrown on the defensive side of the ball.
Legal formation.
Yep. So the Vikings, another mental mistake, going to wipe out a positive yardage play after the illegal shift call. So now all of a sudden they're getting backed up and seconds are bleeding away ever so slowly here in the closing 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
Colerain's down to 1 timeout, and Princeton has all 3 of theirs, I believe. Oh, safety! No? Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Wow. Well, you talk about some penetration that time.
Wow.
By Colerain. That one, there were all kinds of confusion on the field. It looked like and continues to look like.
Here's a replay. What? Nobody even touched Thomas. He came in complete. Oh, you can't see it here, but number 2, nobody touched him. He came completely, had a free shot at the quarterback.
Colerain will take a timeout.
Their final timeout.
So both teams will head to the sideline. The clock frozen at 1:47.
So it's second down and what, 29, Glenn? Is that what I see? Yeah, 29.
So I'm not sure about the timeout situation. The scoreboard's still showing 2 each. I know we've had 2 called in the game so far. I had it 1 for each team, but
one
now,
each. I'm looking right here.
Yeah, but that's what I had. But we'll see what they come up with here if the scoreboard operators manage to get that straightened out.
It's third down, so.
Okay, so no safety.
You've got to believe that
3rd and 29.
Princeton's going to run the ball. They don't want to stop the clock because Colerain's supposedly out of timeouts, but we don't know that yet.
Boy, dangerous territory here
Yes,
with the ball being snapped on about the 1-yard line. Horton's going to pass. Here comes the pressure. He steps away from it to avoid the safety.
Oh, and he goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and he's going to be forced out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
Wow, he was lucky he wasn't tackled in the end zone.
He slithered away from one for sure.
Only his true speed and agility allowed him to get away from the defenders and be tackled for a safety. Nevertheless, Colerain's going to get the ball back.
Right.
You would perceive in very good field position with a minute and 38 to go until halftime.
Talk about not too many more places you can go for Tamir Matthews. He's going to be very deep in his own end zone. The ball's going to be snapped from the 6-yard line. Colerain's returner is going to station himself around the 35-yard line. Whistles on the field. Timeout taken by Princeton. Back deep for Colerain was Deshaun Pace.
You got to believe Colerain's coming after him, Glenn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean,
yeah. Why not?
I'm surprised they don't put all 11 on the line to come at him, not put anybody back.
So scoreboard now is showing Colerain with 1 timeout, Princeton with 2. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot with 1:38 remaining in the quarter, but just so we've got that straight after some confusion here a couple of minutes ago as to what the situation is. Well, boy, this is this is turned into an exciting game after a little bit of a shocker early, Mike.
Well, Glenn, we talked about how important it was for Princeton to keep Colerain out of the end zone. They were able to do that. They get the ball back, and some negative plays is going to get the ball right back to Colerain in great field position with very, very short field.
Matthews 5, 6, maybe 7 yards deep in his own end zone for the punt. Wild snap. He's able to corral it and get it off. Good kick's going to be fielded inside the 40-yard line. Penalty flag comes down around the 30 before the return man, number 3 for Colerain, is corralled out of bounds. Deshaun Pace, that deep man. So we told you before the timeout. We'll see what's going on with the penalty. Looks like the initial indication is against the Vikings. Holding on Colerain.
Sure.
So on the return, Colerain with a mental miscue.
Let's see if Colerain decides they want to stay with that run game or try to maybe get a quick hit, because they're going to have about 44 yards to go in just a little under a minute and a half.
Well, just to add to the confusion, Colerain showing 2 timeouts, Princeton 1. So I don't know. We're going to play a game of boggle here in a minute and see what comes up on timeout. So
we'll wait and see.
Hopefully they can figure out our referee's microphone here at halftime. I don't know if we'll get that chance, but okay, 1st and 10 from the Princeton 41-yard line. Johnson takes a long look over for some adjustments.
They're in a passing formation for sure.
He's going to keep it. Option pitch. Getting the edge inside the 40-yard line on the far side of the field.
First time we've called his name. Williams?
Yeah, number 18.
Ronald Williams Jr. Colerain's in there, hurry up offense.
He's a junior. By grade year, not last name. Well, a little bit of confusion there, indecision there by Johnson. He decides to keep it and plow ahead, and he's going to lose a yard. Late penalty flag comes in on the far side of the field.
Johnson lost his helmet, which means he's going to have to come off for a play.
The penalty flag is resting over there between the 30 and 35. The officials are going to huddle up.
I'm wondering if the penalty potentially is for somebody ripping off his helmet.
Could be. I think it'd be a face mask then, right? 2 flags on the field, as you can see in our camera shot there. I only saw the one, but
maybe it's
has the same effects.
Yeah.
Came in late. The one I saw that's landed between the 30 and 35 came in late. So see what our referee has to say.
Still trying to get things all squared away here.
I'll defer to you on that.
No, I'm not going there.
You're our resident officiating
Personal
guru.
foul
Against Princeton. That's the second one of those, but it's going to be offsetting. So we'll replay the down. So Princeton now with 2 personal fouls, but they're bailed out by Colerain getting one of their own that time.
As expected, Johnson's out for a play because he lost his helmet. Looks like number 15 is in at quarterback, Prather.
Prather's seen some game action this year against St. Xavier. Saw quite a few snaps actually against St. X. So definitely the backup.
They're still trying to get this figured out. What's going on here?
Again, I defer to you. The Colerain's marching backwards, whatever the result was.
If there are offsetting penalties, did they go back to the original line of scrimmage?
Somebody get a rule book out and figure this out. My goodness.
Yeah, there's still some. It's right. It was a dead ball, so the ball has to be where it was spotted last. So don't move the yard marker over there. Right? Wasn't it a dead ball? It looked like a dead ball foul.
Well, it happened on that play where the helmet was lost. That's where the flags got thrown at the end of the play.
Right. It was a dead ball foul.
Okay.
Now they got it right.
Okay, so the ball is moved up to the 45-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 4 for Colerain. Prather in at quarterback, number 15, Tyler Prather, 6'2", 185-pound junior. He looks over for his adjustments as we got used to seeing Johnson do tonight. Signals out the change to his offensive teammates. Now he'll call for the ball.
He's using a lot of clock.
Well, plenty of time left. Prather's going to pass. Here comes the pressure. He dumps it off, and it's swatted away on the left side.
Well, he had, who was that over there? Is that number 3? He had number 3 on the far sideline wide open. He just couldn't get that ball over the head of the defenders.
That's Deshaun Pace, and you've seen how dangerous he can be on those returns tonight.
He was wide open.
3rd down, 26 seconds remaining in the first half. Trying to get the replay in here before the ball is snapped because Prather and the Cardinals took a very long time to get that play off. And you're going to see the deflection coming on the left side. It was 94 who went up and knocked that down, wasn't it?
Yep. Oh, nice move.
Pass.
Oh, he had first down.
Too much. Johnson on the move and fired and a little bit hot and high.
I'm surprised he didn't keep that ball and run for it.
4th down for Colerain.
This is an interesting call.
Boy, how many changes of possession have we had here in the last 2.5 minutes of game time?
I know.
My goodness.
Unbelievable.
So some probably may have heard in the background here by the Colerain broadcasting crew some maybe personnel confusion on the part of the Vikings. Are they down to 11? See if the referees
You're
are
the
counting.
math major. You can figure that out.
I can do the math. I just can't count them quick enough.
Oh, okay.
Here comes, no, it's a fake punt. Or it looked like it was going to be a fake punt. And then
he was down.
Thought better of it. And the ball's fielded, fielded at the 11-yard line. As he had to go down on his knee to get that rugby-style kick. And the he would be Sowers.
Here's a replay. Boy, almost got blocked. Would that not have been something? Got blocked the kick punt.
Bowers, not Sowers, excuse me.
You going to take a knee here if you're Princeton just to go into halftime down?
They kind of like these change of possessions here. So
you only got 14 seconds.
Probably nurse another one out if they play their cards right with the timeouts. I think so. I mean, at this point, you don't want to put the ball in the air, which would potentially be a short field to return a potential touchdown. So,
and they only got one timeout. So
well, we'll see. They kind of look like they're going to run a real play here. Horton's going to hand it off. There's some room on the right side, but not able to get the edge over there. Number 7, Scarborough. Or, excuse me.
That's the last play.
Yeah, got that right. And that'll get him into the locker room. Thomas Boyd. So your halftime score, the Colerain Cardinals 20, the Princeton Vikings 6. We'll be back with a review of the halftime statistics in the second half of action in just a moment. Welcome back to Friday Night Football on ICRC-TV Sports. Glenn Olson and Mike Lorienti with you from Pat Mancuso Field at Viking Stadium. Mike, take us through the halftime statistics.
Yep, here we go. We'll do Colerain first. Obviously, they're winning 20-6, but it's 9 first downs. They had 151 yards rushing, not surprising, led by Flowers, 12 carries, 76 yards. So he is better than his average so far. 60 yards passing. Let me see here. What else is on here? A couple punts. 6 penalties for 45 yards. Time of possession, almost 15 minutes. As you look at Princeton, they had 29 yards rushing and 73 passing. Led by, obviously, on the rushing was, that would be Price, for 3 carries for 20 yards. Not a lot of offense by Princeton. 2 fumbles, lost them both. Time of possession right around 9 minutes. Not a very good offensive performance in the first half by Princeton. Obviously, their one play was the 52-yard touchdown. Other than that, their offense really has been non-existent. And I don't know whether it's because of the good defense of Colerain or just Princeton's lack of execution. Maybe it's a combination of the both. But they're going to get the ball. Colerain's going to get the ball to start the second half. We had a bunch of stuff going on at the end of the second quarter. Nobody scored any points, which was good for Princeton. But they're going to have to come out and have another defensive stance. They can't let Colerain get in here and get another touchdown, or else this thing could get out of hand.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Princeton drew up in the way of halftime adjustments. They came out, passing first. They were having some success in it. Then they went to the ground and seemed to lose their momentum there.
A lot of momentum there.
Jalen Thomas and Sean Williamson are back deep.
You wonder,
for Colerain.
Do you go with what made you successful, right? And go back to the game plan, or do you feel like you've got to do, that quick strike offense? That's feast or famine.
Yeah. Hayden Cobbs, senior, wearing number 23, is going to kick off for the Vikings. We have 24 minutes left to decide this clash of the Titans in the Greater Miami Conference. Good kick straight down the middle. Is going to be fielded by one of the upmen and downed immediately at the 20-yard line. It's going to be the 22 officially. So fair catch is called for by number 18, Ronald Williams Jr. He's a sophomore running back.
Yeah, Glenn, you mentioned adjustments. We've talked many, many times, and every one of our broadcasts, we talk about halftime adjustments, and that's a key in many cases to who ultimately ends up winning the game. So each team had plenty of time to recuperate, figure out what they needed to do, come out fresh, and I think the way Princeton's got to look at this is we got to play this half as if the first half didn't even exist.
Right.
Got to go out and outscore them.
Well, if you're Colerain, I don't know how much you're going to change. You were getting some things going offensively in that second quarter. The first quarter was probably not one that you want to put on your game tape highlight reel, but boy, the second quarter indeed was. Okay, man in motion. Here we go. Johnson's going to hand it off. The pile's going to plow through the left side.
Mr. Flowers.
That run was by number 9, Flowers.
Flowers again gets the call, as Mike said.
By number 12.
It's a gain of 3 or 4 yards.
He averaged a little over 6 yards a carry in the first half.
Princeton showing that blitz up front again. See if anybody comes up to join them. Boy, they're playing it tight.
They're coming, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing it tight. Princeton was able to get good penetration, but Colerain gets the playoff for positive yards. It's going to be about 3 yards.
A little scrum down there on the field. Trying to figure out, officials are going to come in and break that up.
Yep.
They were both struggling over the football.
Yeah. Tackles made by Iran Love, senior linebacker. 3rd and short for the Cardinals. It'll be 3rd and 2.
You got to believe this could be Johnson going around the end, right?
Now some adjustments by the Vikings. New shuffling players across the offensive line. Man in motion for Colerain. Handoff. First down and a couple more for number 14 for the Cardinals. That's Abdul Wahid.
There's a replay.
Talked about him a few times tonight and gets his name called again for a successful play.
Nice pickup, first down. Move the chains.
1st and 10 from Colerain's own 35-yard line.
Getting the hand signals, boy. That's pretty detailed what they're doing.
Okay, man in motion. Johnson's going to keep himself, cuts back, stutter steps through for a gain of 3 yards, it looks to be.
Well, to our left is the coaching staff for the Princeton Vikings, and they're trying to get some communication from the press box down to the field about something. Pretty animated over
Tackle made by number 99, Joshua Youngwood.
I think perhaps there were too many men on the field a couple of plays ago.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was at that point that's all. Okay. 2nd down and 7. Boy, just deliberate by Colerain, to say the very least.
Right.
Right handoff, right side. Princeton was right on it, but man, moving ball forward for 3 or 4 yards.
That run was by number 9.
I don't know if you
Flowers.
noticed. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't see the time or
Tackle made by number 11, Ron
play
Jarrett.
clock in either of the end zones functioning.
There's been a malfunction. They're keeping it on the field.
Yeah, that's obviously what they're doing. But
Third down.
as you mentioned, Colerain taking a lot of time in between snaps.
And this one, man goes in motion, and they stop to see if Princeton reacts to that.
You wonder if that's playing into what they could be complaining about over here in the Princeton press box.
Handoff up the middle to Flowers, and nothing
Short.
going there. Maybe a yard.
Good stop by the Princeton defense.
Get a yard on forward progress, so out come the punters for Colerain, expecting to see Lawson Sandusky, the senior.
Pretty conservative first offensive series coming out of the first half for Colerain.
Back to return, Leroy Bowers for the Vikings. Well, they burnt 3.5 minutes of clock, so there's that.
Yep. Bad
Low snap. Here comes the pressure.
Oh, nice pull.
High kick. Going to be a
look at that
fair
ball.
catch and take a Colerain roll all the way back to the 13-yard line.
Nice punt.
So nice recovery on not the greatest snap in the world.
At the 12-yard line.
And all the way back to the 12 officially for Princeton, who will start in an offensive hole on their first possession here of the second half.
They're going to have to make sure that they stay focused, continue to get positive yards, keep that offensive Colerain off the field, Glenn.
Yeah.
They got to get some points. This drive, they need some points. Passive formation.
Looking over for adjustments themselves. Horton's going to call for the ball. Quick pass is going to be complete out on the left side to Burkhalter.
I like that play coming out of the first possession in the second half. Slow that front four of Colerain from just pinning their ears back and coming after the quarterback.
And we do have the 40-second clock functioning
Oh,
on
there
the
it is.
field
Okay,
now.
good.
Just by the way. So 3 to the top, 1 to the bottom. It's been pretty standard tonight. Horton fakes a quick fast, but now he's going to go down the left side, looking for Burkhalter again. Lots of contact down there in coverage for Colerain was number 10, Sean Williamson. He's a junior. Cornerback.
That was some really good coverage on his part. He used that sideline to his advantage. I think the receiver for Princeton actually was out of bounds and did not come back to reestablish himself in fair play.
So 3rd and 5 for the Vikings. Clock had stopped after the incompletion, of course. Horton looking over to his right the whole way.
First down.
Pass will be caught right at the sticks for a first down, as Mike said.
Nice. So Princeton comes out the second half the way they started the first half, and that's throwing the ball. Glenn.
Had a little more success with it than he did running the ball.
Yeah.
We'll see how long they stick with it. They stuck with it for a couple series in the opening quarter and then went back to a run-heavy offense, which is what we expected coming in.
Going to stay with the wideouts. 4 wideouts, 3 to one side and 1 to the other.
Yep, empty backfield. Horton's going to keep it himself. Draw play up the middle. Not going to be a whole lot there.
Gets a couple.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. Looks to be 2. Well, they'll say it's 3. So 2nd and 7.
If you would have said it was 3, they'd have said it was 4.
It never fails. I think I'd learned to quit calling it. You should just let it be where it is. Nobody will know the difference. I'll just blame it on the angles. It'd be right in front of me, and I'd blame it on the angles.
Princeton back in their running formation.
Handoff. Good blocking over on the right side of the line. Another helmet comes off. Boy, they got to get these helmets tightened up.
We've seen a lot of that tonight. Jeez. You know that?
It's the 3rd or 4th time at minimum I've seen one pop off tonight.
I think that's a good rule that if they lose their helmet, they've got to come off for a play. I think you and I talked about this last time. You never know how the helmet came off, so it gives the coaches a quick look into the eyes and make sure there's nothing going on.
Right.
Looks like a blitz coming in from Colerain. Now they're going to back out.
Yeah, Horton was trying to get Cardinals to jump, so now an adjustment.
Here they come.
Get the football, handoff up the middle. Boy, nice job blocking up front there.
Going to be short, I think, maybe by a yard or 2 there, Glenn.
Yeah, but good job moving that pile forward. So Price the third gets the carry for the Vikings, and it's going to be 4th and a yard. Decision time for Mike Daniels. Trust your big boys up front to get you a yard.
Yep. You're going to have to do that. Go right over Mr. Harris's left hip.
Well, let's see if they actually run the play or if they just try to get.
They're bringing the big guy in the backfield for blocking.
If they're just going to try to get Colerain to jump. And we have whistles and penalty flag.
Too many on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be against Princeton. So 4th and 1 becomes 4th and whole different situation.
That late substitution, it looked like there was some confusion on whether, and that's exactly what happened. Too many players on the field.
Well, it's tough to compare the two situations, but we did see some personnel confusion in that Milford game in week 1. You would think you've got that ironed out by now in week 4.
Right.
But
that's too bad because I think I think Princeton was going to probably go for that.
Yeah, they had Horton going under center, so it was definitely going to be a
sneak,
be a snap and move the pile forward. I think you probably could have telegraphed that had he been in the pistol that they were trying to get Colerain to jump. So just the battle of wills, but now we're in a punting situation for the Vikings. Good snap,
nice
high
punt.
Kick. Fair catch called for inside the 40, and a dangerous
that was a little
fair
risky.
catch by Pace.
Good field position for Colerain. They're on their own 44-yard line. There's a penalty on the play.
These penalty flags, man. Hopefully we don't get in this rut again where we get 4 or 5 in a row like we did in the second quarter.
See what it's holding against Colerain. That's got to drive the coaches crazy.
How do you hold on a fair catch?
That's got to drive the coaches crazy.
Fair catch the ball, good field position, and a 10-yard mental mistake.
It's crazy. It's got to be, those coaches got to be pulling whatever hair they have left out. Understand you're dealing with, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, but still.
Third down, fair catch. My goodness. Anyway. So now we're still some conversation among the officials.
Well, looks like he's talking to the center about something.
Lots of
Something
finger
going on
pointing, gesticulating between the sidelines.
Is there an injured player down here or something? No. They're pointing.
Somebody missing on the field that's supposed to be out there?
I don't know, but something's going on. They're pointing into the far end of the end zone here. Now it looks like everything's all set. Okay.
10 hours later. Under center is Johnson.
You know, we saw a little bit of this offense last week with Mount Healthy. How they used almost every second of the play clock.
Johnson late pitch to one of his wingbacks, number 19.
Then I figured out what the confusion was.
Shannon Murray was the ball carrier. What's that?
The play clocks are out again.
Oh, jeez.
That's what they were pointing to. Here's a replay. You can see that round end gets a nice angle and gets enough for a first down. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the play clock.
Well, good eye. Some New England scheming here. It goes out for Colerain and works for Princeton.
Yeah, that's true.
See if they get it corrected in time for Princeton's next
Yeah,
offensive
wouldn't that be funny?
drive. Johnson keeps it himself, a little bit of indecision, and he's going to go backward. Be brought down right at the line of scrimmage, and there you see the not illuminated play clock. So they are not working.
No, they are not working
At this point, said Coach Belichick with a laugh. 2nd and 10. Under 4 minutes now. Boy, this third quarter is
It's going quick, isn't it?
going quick despite all the between the plays action with the officials and technical difficulties with the play clock. Man in motion. Yeah, jet sweep. It's gonna be
Still on his feet.
Yeah,
Wow.
first down and more for Colerain.
Good extra effort there.
And it sure was. Number 2, Jalen Thomas.
Good effort.
On the jet sweep.
We've called his name on both sides of the field today. He almost had the safety in the end zone over there just before the end of the second quarter.
Stop as he was corralled out of bounds. So 1st and 10, 3:32.
Thomas is a 6 foot, 190-pound senior. So he
Right up the gut.
Mr. Flowers.
Good for 5 yards, maybe 6. Tackle on the play was by Todd Harding, the senior defensive tackle.
We're starting to see some substitutions on the defensive side for Princeton as some of these guys need some breaks.
Yeah.
They've been out here pretty much the entire third quarter.
Yeah, your time of possession, what was it in the first half? It was dominated by
15
Colerain.
to 9.
Yeah, so a 6-minute advantage
And almost this whole
Colerain
quarter
here,
here.
yeah.
So you got to give these kids, you got to give them breathers.
Pass play
He's open,
coming
wide
open on the left side. First down and more.
Nice
Spinning his way to the 15-yard line. So great change of pace play dialed up by Colerain, and it goes to Jalen Thomas.
He was wide open. As you can see a replay. He comes out of the backfield. I think we got the wrong play, but on the last play, he come out of the backfield. Nobody picked him up. He was wide open.
Thomas will sit this play out, but
Johnson delivered the ball right on the numbers.
1st and 10 for Colerain. Under 2:30 to go now in the third quarter. Johnson's going to keep it himself and cut back up. A little bit of a hole develops there. Good positive yardage play for the Cardinals, and they're starting to rack up these yards
They're racking up
bigger
a lot.
chunks.
They're racking up yards, and the time of possession is crazy.
Well, Princeton went back to the pass play, right?
That's
so
right. You're right.
Kind of saw that was going to happen. And the Cardinals are making them pay for that. They finally get the ball back and shoot up a lot of clock, moving, at this point, essentially 55 or so yards down the field.
Yep.
Second down.
Back in that bunch formation. Flowers gets it.
Yeah, no flag.
Oh, nice tackle. Nice open field tackle over there.
Princeton ready for it that time. Good assignment football, as we talked about in our pregame hit.
Loss of maybe a yard or two. It's going to bring up third down, and what do you say, that's 6, 7 yards over there?
Every bit of 6. See what Colerain dials up here.
I think this is 4-down territory going.
This goes in
saw,
the red zone, yeah.
We saw what happened when they attempted that field goal. They got no points out of that.
Right.
They don't need to get it all on this play if they can get 3 or 4 yards and make it fourth and manageable.
Yeah, well, they've been getting 4, 5, 6 yards of play.
Right.
Wow, nice play that time.
Oh, nice tackle.
Yeah, good tackle by the Vikings. Another helmet pops off, so he gets the tackle and is going to have to come out of bounds. That was Juan Jarrett.
Glenn, what they might have done there, now that I look when they're bringing the field goal unit out, they might have run there to be able to get the ball in a better position for the field goal kicker straight on versus trying that angle.
Yeah, get it on the near hash
Yep.
here. Okay, 2 for 1 in field goal tries tonight. Good snap. Looks to be right between
That's
the pipes.
exactly what they did. Good move.
So 23-6 in favor of the Colerain Cardinals with just 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
That was a very nice, long, sustained drive by Colerain. And now their defense is completely rested, so they're going to have their ears pinned back. And Princeton's got a pretty big uphill battle in front of them.
23-6, 17-point differential, which is a 3-possession football game with 12 minutes and 6 seconds. So Princeton's going to have to act with some extreme urgency in an offense.
I would think so.
So you start throwing the ball. They'll be getting to the sticks on first down, making good throws.
Or what happens? The ball gets turned right back over to Colerain, and they're gonna do
shoot up
3 yards in a cloud of dust.
So everybody can watch it, but right now at the moment we don't. But we do
like 4, 5, 6 yards on a cloud of dust.
That's true.
No, we
Now,
have
Glenn, I've not seen Colerain play in quite a few years. I know they've got a very good program. I know you've seen them over the years. How does this team compare to some of the other teams they've had in the past?
I think athlete-wise, it's on par. I think the big question mark is with the coaching staff.
Oh, that's right.
Tom Bolden moving over to Lakota West.
Right.
And Coach Cutright taking over, penalty flag.
Was Coach Cutright part of his staff?
Oh, yeah, he's been on the staff since 05. He actually goes back to Kerry Combs. So he's been around Colerain football a long time.
Okay.
I think he was with Coach Combs for a year, and that was right around the time that Kerry went to Brian Kelly's staff and then ultimately Columbus with Urban Meyer.
Where's he at now? He's in the pros.
Tennessee. He's a secondary coach for
the Titans. Oh, okay. Wow, he's done well in his career.
Yeah, this is his second year, I believe. This is the second year of the Vrabel regime. So, yeah,
Oh, so did he know Grable at Ohio State?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's where that
He
connection.
didn't coach him there, but knew him from. Didn't coach him as a player. They were on the coaching staff together.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Sorry. Yep, not a whole lot goes right there for Princeton.
That'll be the last play of the third quarter, which was completely dominated by Colerain.
Yeah, right back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So 23-6. So Princeton has not scored since that first quarter touchdown pass. Colerain chewed up most of that third quarter That's 3 points out of it, but now we have an injured player, unfortunately.
49.
Number 49 for Colerain, Donovan Owens. He's a senior defensive lineman.
Looked like he was grabbing his ankle or his calf. But anyway, Glenn, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. It's a 3-possession game, most importantly. So now if you're Princeton, again, the urgency. Take a look at our cable TV replay schedule for our Spectrum and Optics customers. Various showings across channels 8 and 838, 4 and 834. Channel 24, an exclusive for our Spectrum customers, and 8 and 838 for Optics. Of course, you can catch this game and all the other ICRC-TV programming on demand at ICRC-TV.com, ICRC-TV.com. Our other match tonight is Harrison leading Ross 21-10 at the half. So you'll be able to catch that game on demand as well at ICRC-TV.com. Did see Sycamore was down huge to Lakota West, 28-0 or 28-7 at halftime. Number 49 is the injured player for Colerain, Donovan Owens.
Hey, Glenn, while they're attending to number 49, the time of possession now is 23-12.
Wow.
So almost double. and Colerain now has 288 total offensive yards to 122 for Princeton.
Hopefully just a cramping situation for Mr. Owens. You saw him jog off the field. So here we go. 12 minutes left to decide it. Good look at the home stands here tonight. Princeton High School, good crowd on hand.
Yes, it was.
Both teams, both bands here. Great halftime performance by several of the bands here in the Princeton City School District at halftime. Saw Shrek conducting at one point.
Absolutely. How about that? And you know, Glenn, a couple years ago they renovated this facility, and they really did a very nice job.
Sure did.
Field looks beautiful. Stands. We got a nice press box up here. They've taken real good care of us, and as you mentioned earlier, thanks to everybody in the truck and the student volunteers to help make this broadcast possible. We couldn't do it without them.
That's for sure. I haven't ran a camera in a very long time. May have lost my touch.
Oh, I don't know, Glenn. It's like riding a bike. Josh, did you hear that? Glenn wants to run camera next time.
Oh, he did not say that. Give me a microphone.
Here comes a blitz.
Yeah. Horton, all kinds of time, throws a dart right down the middle.
Catch.
And it is complete near the 49-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 47. So that was one of his favorite targets, Sterling Burkhalter. So that's the big chunks of yards that Princeton needs. You're going to see it on replay here.
Princeton going in that hurry-up offense. They obviously recognize they've got three possessions.
Over to the left side. That one falls incomplete. Receiver had to come back for it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. That looked like good defensive coverage on this end.
Fall to the ground. That was D'Angelo Foster, a junior wide receiver.
That was right in front of us. So we talked about when the passes go incomplete, the clock stops, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
11:40.
Yep, 11:40.
Second down and 10. Clock stopped, as Mike astutely pointed out. Horton back to pass. Here comes the pressure. He's going to try to run up the middle, but runs right into white jersey. So now he's going to go backwards to the tune of 4 yards. So very off schedule will be the Vikings, who are now at 3rd and about 14.
Well, you saw the replay, or could see a replay. That defensive line absolutely just collapsed the pocket. And, you know, we talked about them being fresh. You know, they've been chomping to get out on the field. First opportunity they get, they collapse that pocket and get a sack.
Actually,
3rd and long.
3rd and 15 it ends up being. 2 to the top and the bottom.
They're coming again.
Horton with time, pass across the middle, going up to get it, and a first down. So nice job converting on 3rd and long by the Vikings. Take a look at it on the replay here. You're going to see Horton with all kinds of time and a big hole in the middle. So pass was complete to number 21, D'Angelo Foster, he's a junior wide receiver. 5'7", 140, played like he was 6'5" on that one.
That was a nice catch.
Horton again with time, decides to pull it down and run. It loses 2 defenders, and the third one's going to get him on an ankle tackle inside the 30-yard line.
Well, he was one player away from taking that to the house, Glenn.
And that will be a first down, so the clock will stop at 10:36, preserving precious time for the Vikings offense.
And there's a replay. You can see he just got tackled there.
Quick play, quick snap.
Oh,
out to the right side and falls incomplete. So burned about 9 seconds of clock on that one. But yeah, Princeton is acting with the sense of urgency. We talked about that being key here in the final quarter, and that's what Coach Daniels and his team are displaying so far offensively. Catch a little bit of a breather here. Save a few seconds of clock after the incompletion, but 2nd and 10. Got Colerain to jump, so we'll make that 2nd and 5. Nice job by Horton with the cadence there to get Colerain to jump, and it was multiple offenders, it looked like. Not just one, had 2 of them fooled by that hard count. Horton, as we said at the top of the show, a transfer from LaSalle. Threw the ball a ton over there.
that was the 8th penalty on Colerain tonight.
Horton's going to keep it himself. He has room on the left side. Tries to split the defenders. Goes in the air and gets upended. But that'll be another first down for the Vikings. So the clock will stop momentarily.
Great effort.
Yeah, indeed it was.
I mean, he was determined to get that first down.
Clock now rolling again. Still no play clock, by the way, just to catch you up on that. Horton's going to roll out to his right, has a receiver, splits a defender.
Oh, wait, did he catch it? Oh, no.
Yeah, ball was up for grabs by a defender or a receiver trailing the play, but not able to haul it in.
That was a dangerous throw. There was two white jerseys around.
Yeah.
Two white jerseys around that Princeton receiver.
Like I said, trying to split those defenders.
Yep.
So the pass initially was intended for 87, Rodney Harris Jr. Looked like Foster was in the vicinity as the trailing receiver.
Harris on here on the right side's got one-on-one coverage. He could be a big target for him. He's looking that way. He's going to tuck it and run.
Comes the pressure.
Oh, he got out.
Yeah, pocket collapsed, and somehow Horton was able to slide away, get away from that pressure and pick up 3 or 4 more yards. So Vikings hanging in there.
Yes, they are. Unfortunately, the clock continues to run with just about 9.5 to go in the game. They got to get the ball in the end zone soon.
I was going to say, you probably get one more first down and start taking your shots in the end zone and
timeout.
Timeout on the field. So I believe that's our first timeout taken here in the second half.
Well, this is an important play for Princeton. They got to get this right. You know, we talked before. We talked before about Colerain. They don't necessarily need to get it all. It'd be nice to get it all, but if they don't get it all, it's got to be manageable distance.
Key for 3-possession game. Hypothetical touchdown here makes it a 2-possession game, and get out there and run the ball, right?
Yeah.
Keep it out of Princeton's hands.
Right. Then it boils down to, what do? Do you onside kick it, or is it too early to do that? And you give Colerain a short field. I mean, it's just darn if you do and darn if you don't, right?
Getting desperate. You have to really trust your defense to be able to shut Colerain down like you did in the first quarter.
Yep.
Possible. And obviously, rules of adjustments on both teams since then. You know you can do it based on the early results. Can you do it when you desperately need to?
I say when you really, really, really need to have it.
So here we go. 3rd down and 7 for the Vikings, trying to find a sign of life in this game. Horton's going to roll to his right.
Nice play.
Quick pass is complete inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for Princeton. Pass was complete. That was number 10 for the Vikings. Jamer Matthews, junior wide receiver.
I'm pretty impressed with the way Horton's been throwing the ball. I mean, seriously, he's done very, very well. We didn't see that much when we were, at Milford.
Yep, big run up the middle and touchdown for the Vikings. And that was Mr. Burkhalter.
Now we're down to a 2-possession game. Here's a replay.
Look at it on replay. Give the home fans something to cheer about. Well, that was Thomas Boyd, actually. I got my 1 and 7 confused.
That's just grinded out up the middle. Looks like they're going to go for 2, Glenn.
Yeah, sorry, Thomas. Thought that was odd. They'd have Burkhalter in the backfield. Was fooled by the number.
They're going to go for 2 here.
Yeah, 23-12.
At some point in time, you're going to need to get 2, right?
Right. Horton, throw off the back foot, wide open receiver right down the middle.
Oh, very nice. Very nice by Princeton.
Great job. Indeed.
Now you got to count on your defense. So let's see what they end up. Let's see what they end up doing here.
That was Rodney Harris Jr. See on your screen that caught that 2-point conversion. So 23-14, a 9-point deficit. It's still a 2-possession game. Need a touchdown, extra point, and a field goal to win it.
I don't think you onside kick it here, Glenn. I think you're going to have to kick it deep. Hopefully your defense can hold them. Get a short field and try and score again.
Yeah, I think you want to make it as tough on Colerain as possible. So I'm inclined to agree with you that you trust your defense. Conversely, if your defense is going to give up first downs every other play, then that's going to keep your offense off the field. So we'll see what Princeton's dialed up defensively here since the third quarter to try to slow Colerain down.
See what they do. This is kind of an interesting cat and mouse game right now.
I don't know. Cat and mouse game is right. Kicking that is going to be Hayden Cobbs.
Is he the normal kicker? That would be interesting to see if he is.
He's listed as one of them. There were 2 on the 2 deep.
All right, he does kick it deep.
Yeah, it's going to be fielded at the 10-yard line. It's going to be returned by Colerain. No fair catch. Big hole up the middle on the far hash. Defender to beat on the right side. One Princeton defender meekly puts his arm out to try to stop him, and the return man picks up 10 more yards.
No flags, Glenn.
So great return.
Here's a replay.
By Sean Williamson, number 10. So look at that. He caught that at the 10-yard line, and they're in Viking territory at the 38. So watch here. Yep. Just an arm comes out, and then finally could not run any more red jerseys. So great field position for the Vikings, or for the Cardinals, excuse me. Better field position than if you'd attempted an onside kick.
Absolutely.
I think.
That was a great kickoff return.
First down for the Cardinals.
Well, Cardinals have a short field to work with, however way you put it, through the onside kick or through a great return, and this one being the latter.
Yep.
Now they have possession, can control that clock.
See if Princeton brings the full-out blitz.
Dive up the middle is going to be good for about 4 yards.
Mr. Flowers again.
Again, boy, he's not the MVP of this game.
Yeah.
You need tough yards. He's the guy they've been going to.
And he's not afraid to go between the tackles either. He's got the speed to get outside, but he's not afraid to go between the tackles.
If you're going to play for Colerain, you're not going to be afraid to go between the tackles, right?
Yeah.
This offensive attack that they run,
yep.
He's still out there in the backfield. Surveying the field. Man in motion.
Jet sweep.
Yep. Big chunks of yardage for number 14, Abdul Wahid. Every time we've called his name tonight, it's been a positive.
He's a great change of speed back. You know that? He's got fresh legs. And to your point, Glenn, every time he's had the ball, he's made something happen.
Ball is at the 24-yard line. There's 7:57, and the clock continues to tick down. Remaining in regulation. Vikings need a huge stop here. Would love a turnover.
Yeah, they do. This is
They'll be fighting,
almost desperation time.
fighting to punch that ball out, I'm sure, on the tackles.
That's a penalty.
Hand off to Flowers. Nothing doing that time.
2 men in motion at the same time.
Yep, but so that'll be a negative yardage play for the Cardinals.
Number 14, what's his?
It's against the Cardinals. Illegal shift against the Cardinals.
Here's a replay.
Yeah, that was Abdul Wahid. We just sang his praises and then gets the penalty called on him.
He got in motion and he's almost like, oh boy, I'm caught. Stop. Guilty.
All right, 1st and 15, 7:31. Ball spotted, 28-yard line.
Clock continues to run.
Colerain in no hurry. Comfortable lead in possession. Up, that's blown up in the backfield, and that's going to go backwards 2 plays in a row. That time it was a handoff to number 19, Shannon Murray. Darion Henry with the stop. Of course, he's committed to Ohio State as well, along with Paris Johnson, who we talked about earlier in the show.
Yep.
Second in a bunch for Colerain, but nonetheless, they still have possession. Flowers in the backfield, and he's going to be joined by Murray.
Here comes Princeton.
Oh, boy, Johnson wanted to make a pitch back to
didn't,
Murray,
Glenn.
and the Princeton defense was all over that. So Colerain had great field position and just not able to do anything with it in 3 negative yardage situations here in a row.
They look really out of sync on this offensive series. You know they're going to run the ball, right? They're not going to pass it, so they want the clock to continue to run.
Actually going to huddle up. Don't see that a lot. So 3rd in a bunch.
A whole bunch, 20. 23, I guess.
High formation again for the Cards. Now they're going to shift out of it. That's going to be a pitch back to Murray. Murray sidesteps one defender, but reinforcements arrive.
Wow.
He's going to be tackled at the 40, so.
Oh, there's a penalty. Oh, Lord.
Well.
There's a penalty. I think that's unsportsmanlike conduct.
So Princeton with the very successful defensive drive, and it's going to be punctuated by by a personal foul at the end of the play. So we talked about the need for the Vikings to avoid the mental miscues late in the game, and there they had Colerain against the ropes and give them a breath of fresh air.
I think that penalty was on number 9, Bowers, because he exited the field real quick, and he's one of his coaches got him over there and talk to him. This is a teaching moment for him.
So 4th down for the Cardinals, and it's a 4th and 12, much more manageable than what they were looking at before with the ball all the way back at the 40-yard line.
I think they're going to take a delay of game, let the clock go all the way down and take a delay of game, and then pooch it.
So the ball will be at the 25-yard line. Now timeout is taken by Colerain. That's their first of the half.
So yeah, I would have to imagine it's too far to try a field goal for now. You don't want to give them the opportunity, maybe something getting blocked and returned. I think they're probably going to pooch it.
It's where the ball snapped, that'd be a 25-yard pooch, so 35 or so yards for the punter.
Yeah.
Doable.
Yeah.
They can execute.
So Glenn, I think pretty much the game has kind of followed the script that we probably would have thought, right, as far as where we're at right now on who's winning the game. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I think so.
I think coming into this, probably Colerain was probably the favorite of the two teams.
Right.
They've been there. Princeton's trying to get there, right? Rebuild that program.
Well, for those of you who follow high school football closely, Princeton off to a promising start last year. Some administrative issues with eligibility.
Yep.
Wiped out that great start. They kind of limped to the finish, and then again, a lot of hype around this team through most of the summer coming into this year. A couple of big wins in weeks 1 and 2.
They're going to go for it, Glenn.
Pass, dumps it off over to the right side. So, yeah,
there's a penalty.
Just a field position gamble, and a penalty comes in late.
Maybe not. Boy, that looked like a late hit there on by Colerain on one of the Princeton players.
Yeah, no
Did
flag.
you see that?
Yeah, no flag.
So Princeton takes over on down, so they gotta move the ball quickly down the field.
So that's exactly what Colerain wanted to do, get the field position that they could get to push Princeton back a little bit more. Most importantly, burn off a little more clock. Timeout situation on the scoreboard is 1 for Colerain, all 3 for Princeton.
All right, we saw Horton pass the ball very well the last series. It looks like he's going back.
Yep, has to dump it off with the pressure coming from the Cards, and
center screen.
Not a whole lot there. It's actually going to be a loss of about 2 yards.
Oh, this isn't good.
And a little limping off the field there by Price III.
Yeah, he's their big play guy.
So 2nd and 11. Horton empty backfield's going to roll to his right again. Another quick pass. It's caught and will be advanced out to the 30-yard line. 4 yards shy of a first down. So that's going to set up 3rd and 4. Pass was complete to Matthews. Precious time ticking away. We're under 4 minutes now. Another quick pass by Horton, nearly intercepted by 2 separate Cardinals. Had an opportunity.
Well, he never looked off his receiver. He was very lucky. Number 11 for Colerain. Who is that, Glenn?
Elijah Ford and Deontay Kiner are 11 and 22, and they're both the Cards that had an opportunity at it.
There was nobody in front of him either.
You're right.
So Horton did not look off his receiver. He locked on him and gave the defenders the opportunity to close in on the receiver.
Yeah, his defense, pressure's coming. He's getting rid of the ball quick, so has some time this time. He's going to tuck it and run.
He's short.
Colerain is going to catch up with it, and they're going to be a yard or 2 shy.
Yep.
So that's going to be a turnover on downs.
And that'll just about do it.
I'm not sure if that's just a Colerain player slow to get up or an injured player.
Here's a
Horton rolling out to his left and several yards shy, 2 to 3 yards shy of the first down marker. And that is indeed a injured player on the field.
I think that's a
on
Colerain
the far
player.
side of the field. So Harrison pulls out a victory. 48-10 over Ross.
Good job, Harrison.
First ICRC-TV to win at home through 4 weeks. Took 4 weeks to get a home winner among our ICRC communities.
That injured player for Colerain was number 3, Deshaun Pace. It looks like he's fine. He's up, bounced up. Looks like he wants to get in the huddle to go back on the field.
These are return man on kicks and also a potential receiver.
They're actually going to bring the change out for a measurement.
Closer than we thought.
I'm surprised.
Look to be well shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to stretch out. They're going to be well shy there.
Well shy.
Doesn't hurt to ask, but that's at least a yard shy.
Yep. So Colerain's going to take over on downs. And barring a miracle here, they're going to run the ball a few times, take some more time off the clock, and limit Princeton's ability to get back into the game.
You know, credit Princeton. They knew, or credit Colerain. They knew Princeton was in a passing situation, and they brought just enough pressure to not let Horton get comfortable in the pockets. And to your point, not really a chance to go through his progressions, was staring down a receiver that he saw open quickly before the pressure would get to him, and ultimately ends up being a turnover on downs.
I've been impressed tonight with his ability to throw the football.
Flowers, left side, drug down a couple yards past the line of scrimmage. Number 19, Darion Henry, the Ohio State commit.
Timeout Vikings.
I would think Princeton would want to include passing the ball a little bit more in their offensive scheme, because, I mean, Horton, I'm repeating myself, but he looked pretty, the second half, he did a very nice job throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm. Thought so. He's, and the struggles continue for the Moeller Crusaders. We just get word that Winton Woods was victorious 34-0 over Moeller. Moeller playing 4 of their home games here at Princeton, by the way.
Yeah, what has happened to that program?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, you know, if it's the coaching transition or just a loss of talent. You got Drew Altamuli, quarterback, who was the Sycamore transfer. So, yeah.
That's a storied program that over the many, many years has been very, very successful. I guess like any program, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have your down times, and then you build it back up.
You're talking about the GCL South. Boy, has Elder been putting up some gaudy offensive numbers this year. So maybe Elder's turn to be the class of the GCL.
Yep.
Flowers bumps off the pressure and bounces outside. Penalty is thrown in the offensive backfield. It's going to be holding on Colerain. So that'll stop the clock. Not to mention he ran out of bounds. 3:32.
Double whammy, right? The infamous double whammy. Penalty and out of bounds.
Man, just wipes out a nice run by Flowers. You saw him hit the line, then bounce outside to his left side when wasn't much there to plow through, and had an opening for positive yardage, but a holding call is going to negate it.
It looks like was that a personal foul or was that a holding?
We missed another one. And I picked a lousy time for the ref's microphone to not work in this game. Holding on Colerain declined.
Personal foul.
And a personal foul on Colerain after the play. So, boy, these last 2 offensive possessions have been in full retreat mode for Colerain.
But
they have the advantage of the clock and the 2-possession lead that Princeton's not able to do a whole lot with it. But, you know, to convert here, they're going to need to get up to the 24-yard line. The ball's going to be snapped at the 46.
Yeah. You can't be happy as your coach of what you've seen these last 2 series. And now we just had a personal foul, which is, you know, you got to stay focused. Can't let that happen.
Receiver's going to split out to the top of the formation. Johnson's going to keep it himself. Gets a block by Flowers up front. And there's going to be another one after the play and right in front of the official.
What is going on?
What a not so smart push after the whistle by a Colerain player.
My, oh my. You're up by 9 points with 3.5 minutes to go, and you're back-to-back personal fouls.
Yeah. As I said, an unnecessary push after the game was, putting it politely, for consumption on our airwaves here.
Unbelievable.
I think coaches may have some separate words for it in the confines of the locker room or film study.
Yep. What is it? 2nd and 36 to go.
My goodness. Football is all the way back at the Colerain 44-yard line. And again, they need to get to the Princeton 24. My, oh my, oh my. 3rd and 36. What do you have in your playbook for that, Coach?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Handoff up the middle.
And boy, that didn't go anywhere.
We got a timeout.
Number 9,
Yeah,
Flowers.
Princeton's going to take timeout, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're seeing a glimmer of hope here, Glenn. You never know. Quite honestly, as bad as Colerain's played the last 2 or 3 series, you would not think this is the same team that we saw, for the
second and third
quarter.
Yeah, the juggernaut in the second quarter, clock chewing machine in the third quarter, and I would assume negative yardage here in the fourth quarter.
Undisciplined team in the fourth quarter. Back-to-back personal fouls. And to your point, the last one right in front of the official.
Yeah. I'm older and wiser now, but that just drives me nuts when you think what's going through a young player's mind to do that, especially right in front of an official.
So, like I said, Princeton's still has a pulse here. You never know what could happen. They're going to probably field the ball right around the 20, 25-yard line, Glenn?
Yeah, that's
something like that, maybe.
Yeah, your return man is
Bowers.
Going to be Bowers, who's set up at the 20. Have to think Princeton's coming after this punt.
Yes.
Have to think they're coming after this punt hard. That's why Colerain puts an extra defender there in front of the punter.
Here they
extra
come.
blocker, I guess. Here comes the pressure, but
bad punt.
Doesn't really get close.
Wow.
A bad punt, yeah. But good field possession for the Vikings.
Yeah.
40-yard line, 44-yard line, somewhere in there. Didn't really see the official on the far side spot that officially, but yeah, much better than back at the 20.
Just a bad series of events for Colerain. Fortunate for Princeton, and obviously we're going to see Horton put the ball up in the air, and he's been successful. You got number 87 down here split to the right, one-on-one coverage. I keep calling his name, his number. You got to go to him.
Colerain has been shut out in this quarter, by the way. Intercepted. So Horton with an ill-advised throw. Colerain will take over at Princeton's 42 or 43-yard line.
Okay, here's the interception. Just overthrown. Just plain and simple overthrown.
Brandon Sinclair, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just overthrown. We've called his name quite a few times tonight. He's had a good game.
So whatever pulse Princeton had is faint at best at this point for the Vikes. So Colerain has been able to dodge some bullets.
Yeah, they have. As they continue to play league games against some of their other competition, they're going to have to button this up.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Well, I think that's a very fair statement, partner. Done in last week by
Sycamore. Oh, no.
By a turnover and an unsportsmanlike late in the game.
Yeah. I'm thinking Princeton.
Now, tonight, this struggles.
Yep. All right.
They will go to Lakota East next week.
That'll be a good game.
In Liberty Township.
Hand out the Flowers up the middle.
Colerain.
They're grabbing. Princeton's grabbing at that ball.
Colerain will travel to Middletown next week. Barnett Stadium. Lucky enough to do a playoff game there several years ago. Great facility.
Is it nice?
Yeah. Chris Carter is a Middletown alum and has donated some money there.
Oh,
They've got an athletic training center and I believe he got the field named after him.
Very nice.
I tell you, that press box is somewhere you want to be in the event of a natural disaster because it is solid steel.
It's Middletown. It would be built out of steel, right?
Exactly right. Came from just down the road.
Yeah.
Armco, likely.
Yeah.
Probably built well before AK took over. But yeah, great facility up there.
It's nice when you have these ex-pro athletes give back to the community, donate their time and talent and money. I mean, I think that's a great move.
Yeah, one of my high school teammates, Carlton Gray, played for the UCLA Bruins and later professionally with a couple different teams, built the training center. over on the campus of Winton Woods High School.
Nice.
Winton Woods High School, of course, will be demolished after this year. The stadium will remain intact, but a new building is being built in front of the existing structure.
Okay.
So I don't have an alma mater anymore, and I'm not going to have the physical building anymore.
Glenn, you can go over there and shed a tear, maybe steal a brick or something.
One was by number 1, Johnson.
Johnson carries the ball, or Johnson makes the stop for Princeton.
Princeton is out of Princeton's out of timeouts.
Yeah, they're out of timeouts now. So, yeah, the very faint pulse is growing fainter, unfortunately, for you Vikings fans.
One more first down, and that will be history here.
Just have to look back into that third quarter penalty. Nope, didn't get him to jump into the neutral zone. But look back to that third quarter. You let Colerain chew up so much time.
Yeah.
And that's really what did the Vikings in, because that third quarter was absolutely dominated by Colerain, even though they only scored 3 points in it.
Yeah, that's true. They, I think they might have had maybe 2 offensive possessions in that third quarter, and that's when Colerain basically locked this game up. We got a timeout on field.
Colerain calls their final timeout, so now barring a miracle that puts us into overtime, both teams are out of timeouts. Very long game.
It has been a long
tonight.
game. I was just thinking the same thing.
Approaching 2 hours and 40 minutes, counting halftime. And I believe that may have been an extended halftime tonight. I didn't pay attention to what the clock said when it started, but it seemed extended with the performance by the multiple bands here in the Princeton City School District. Very nice ceremony on the field prior to the game starting with a Princeton alum who went into the Army, completed her basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Fortunately, they were forced to evacuate due to the threat of Hurricane Dorian, and she was able to receive her certificate for completing basic combat training on the field by the Princeton superintendent. So very neat moment to witness here. Handoff.
First down. That's it.
Plowing up through the line. Flowers. Made a dime for every time we called his name tonight.
He's had an excellent game, and I think you mentioned he's the player of the game, and I would think absolutely.
No doubt.
You know, when it came time for tough yardage, they looked nowhere but number 9, and he didn't let him down.
Right. Coming in, he didn't have a great per carry average, but I think he's been able to pad that tonight.
Yeah, it was
nicely.
Right around 4.5 yards a carry, and to your point, Glenn, I think in the first half he was averaging a little over 6. So he's done nothing in this second half to negatively affect that. So he's had a great game, and congratulations to the Colerain Cardinals for coming in to this environment and beating a very formidable foe in the Princeton Vikings.
You saw Colerain in victory formation, so of note, Colerain only 3 points scored in the second half, but they did chew up a lot of clock in the third quarter. We'll beat that horse one more time.
Yep.
Princeton only scored 8 points, so a combined 11 points in 2 quarters of football. Final's going to go down as 23-14 in favor of Colerain.
Oh.
Now we've got to make sure we get another penalty in before we sign off, right?
Yeah. The quarterback's taking a knee in the right defense or right offensive tackle moves.
Boy, you just see something new every week, don't you?
Yeah.
So Princeton will fall to 0-2 in the GMC and 2-2 overall.
That's it.
And that will do it. 23-14 is your final. So Mike, it was exciting for a while, but ultimately the ground game wins out for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it at halftime you felt that maybe with the adjustments that it would be a more competitive second half, and other than that late touchdown by Princeton, they were held scoreless for almost 3 quarters.
So So back to the drawing board for Coach Daniels and the Vikings. They're still looking for the first GMC win against Lakota East next week. And as we said, Colerain will travel up to Barnett Stadium in Middletown to take on the Middies. Mike, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, again, well-played game. Both teams are very well coached. You got to take positives from on each side of the field because the sun will rise tomorrow and you got a game next week.
For our executive producer, Jason Dudley, our director and producer, Josh Simstrot, and all our crew, our partner, Mike Lorienti, I'm Glenn Olson. You've been watching Friday Night Football on ICRC-TV Sports.
Good night.